how prevalent are PEDs in the UFC?
I mean, everywhere. I think everywhere. Yeah. So now there's actually been a big news on that because they're moving away from USADA. So I don't know how that's going to go. But back when I was doing it, 11 years, this was pre-USADA.
Yeah.
This is pre-a lot of the pre-Reebok UFC. I don't know if you ever. So it's a long time ago.
I know.
And I'd never taken a PED in my life.
Yeah.
This was like, I was what's the word? Naive.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. I never understood this. And I don't want to, I could name people that I know are on PEDs, but I'm not going to do that. But I'd say I just know that 90% of the athletes in the UFC at this point were taking PEDs. Some form. Easily. And it was only idiots like me that weren't doing it. And even, like, because I never understood PEDs, I never understood anything about them, I never understood the advantages to them, really. Again, I knew that they could make you stronger, I knew that you could not get tired, all these things, but I never really understood them. So I just thought they were dangerous. Yeah. So I was just like, I'm not touching them. And this was installed in me by John McGuire, the guy I used to train with. But it was installed in me in not a way like, be careful of your health. It wasn't like that. It was like, the moment that gets taken away from you, you're never going to be able to perform at the level mentally that you believe you could.
Exactly.
So it's like, you're giving yourself a crutch. You're giving yourself something to rely on. You know, like, if you then can't take that, whatever, or it doesn't go right, or the cycle doesn't go right, or whatever, you then mentally are going to be broken. Not physically, but mentally.
Exactly.
And I was like, I'm not going to take that risk. So I never got involved in it, but I know it was super prevalent, and everyone, and I think the issue with all high-level sports, elite-level sports, is when the money gets involved. And this is what, again, being retarded, I didn't even realize, like, okay, yeah, if I took the PEDs and I got better at fighting, I'm going to make more money.
Exactly, yeah.
I didn't know that because I want to be the best fighter on the planet. That's all I cared about. But I want to do it the right way, very honest kind of guy. But people, then what happens is the guys who do it or are good at it, because again, that's like, kind of like weight cutting. You need to know all the secrets to it, the cycles. Again, I really don't understand it. So me talking about it, I probably sound like a retard. But it's like, if you understand all the knowledge about it and you can utilize it to the best of its ability, then great. And then when you get to the level where you are going to get tested, because people were tested back then, but it was like main events.
Exactly. And, like, wasn't like Vitor Belfort, like, you seen his physique back then, like, people called him like TRT Belfort. Like, it was just huge. And this was like pre-USADA. And then you noticed a lot of the fighters in the UFC, they like shrank. When USADA came in, they got more stricter on the testing.
Vitor Belfort's the best example.
Yeah, he's the best.
There's
he's
a
famous.
picture of him pre-USADA and post-USADA, and he goes from Superman to normal man.
Yes.
And but everyone. And then this is the greatest thing about it. So it's like, when again, naive as I am, went through the series, did all right, and then I had a fight. My debut on the UFC was coming up, and I went out. I was fortunate enough to go out and train with Chael. So Chael invited me out to his camp, which was in Portland, Oregon. So I flew out there for 6 months, or for a very, very long time, with John, my mate. Had an amazing time, and I got to train twice a day, every day with Chael, right, for 4 months, 5 months, whatever it was. And
I'd say that was hilarious.
It was. So the thing about Chael's very, very different to what people assume him to be like, which is funny, because he is hilarious, absolutely hilarious, and you also expect him to be this super serious, organized person. And I just remember showing up to training, and he didn't know where his gloves were, didn't know where his wraps were, didn't know where his mouthpiece was, didn't even know where his kit bag was, and his mum used to go to every single one of his training sessions and literally, here you go, put your mouthpiece in, wrap his
Mama
gloves
Chael.
up. Honestly, amazing woman, amazing.
Yeah.
And she used to look after him. So he never had anything now, being an older, again, I was a kid back then, but being an older guy, I realized the importance of having a support network and a support system so you can focus 100% on the task at hand. So having to worry where your kit bag was, it sounds stupid, but the mental energy you spend on that, he's spending on becoming better. Right? That's what he was doing. And, it's where a wife comes in handy quite a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it's like he's an early riser, and he works hard and all these sort of things, but he's not the guy that you'd expect him to be, or for me at least, I didn't expect him. But funny, we had some good times. Yeah. But he's also the busiest man alive.
Yeah, so, especially now with his YouTube channel and everything's like blown up.
Yeah. He's been helping me with YouTube recently. I had him on my live.
Yeah.
But he's DM'd me a couple of times like, you need to do this or this. All right.
He's great at it. He's a killer.
And he's got his own studio, and he just can talk. He just stands there and talk. Like, I can talk, but on my own for an hour, like, I don't know. And he has everything down. But anyway.
Yeah. He does his YouTube videos in like one take.
Yeah.
Like he does them, they're like a 12-minute video and like there's not one cut in them, right? He doesn't just mess up his words once.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. So I do 2 camera pieces now, and I try and aim for them to be 15 minutes long, and I talk about a topic, and I just talk. And I don't want, even if I mess up, I don't want it to be cut, I don't want it to be edited, I want it to be raw, and I want to try and express myself and talk about the subject. Maybe not the best thing to do, but that's how I feel like it will work. And I've actually took a bit of training from Chael about talking, and this is all back in the day. I used to talk to him about how I'm going on this TV show, what do I do, and he'd give me some advice and all this sort of stuff. So I'm very fortunate in that regard as well. And I believe the reason I talk fairly well is all down to my mum. I told you my mum was Jehovah's Witness.
Yes.
She used to force me at the age of like 6 to 16. I used to get up and read Bible verses in front of a church, but like the church was big. They're called Kingdom Halls in, as a Jehovah's Witness, and it'd be like 400 people. Me reading the Bible at 6. So I became very comfortable with public speaking, and I never realized this until now because I don't understand why people struggle with it. I just don't get it because it's so natural to me from that long ago, especially when you're talking about something that you understand. So for me, when I was going on TV and talking about fighting, I did zero research. Didn't think about it, showed up. What are we talking about today? Oh, the fight between X and X. Okay, I know everything because it's my whole life and I just talk about it. And going down tangents, I can't remember what we're talking about. PEDs. Yeah. So PEDs, I bring Chael up because I was training with him twice a day for 6 months for him to fight John Jones, right? And he got battered by John Jones like so many people have. But I remember, like I said, cardio was my thing. And what we used to do with Chael is on a Sunday or on a Saturday, we used to run up this mountain every Saturday with Coach Clayton, who's coach. He used to drive and we used to have to run. And it was steep and it was horrible. And then we'd do sprints. So it'd be like you run the mountain, then there'd be like a sprint track, you'd sprint, and then you'd do stairs. You know, like in Rocky, we see him do the stairs? We'd do stairs outside, in cold, in Portland. It was miserable. And first couple times we did the mountain, or the hill, it wasn't a mountain, he beat me, you know? And then I started thinking, competitiveness, addictiveness, whatever. And I started winning this hill. And then sprints, I was very, very fast I was 92 kilo, 93, 94 kilo.
That's crazy being that fit at that weight. Like that's a lot of energy to be lugging that around.
But I've got the Usain Bolt stride. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so over 100 meters, I was pretty fast. I was never Usain Bolt, but I was fast. For an athlete, a fighter who's not meant to be running, I was pretty fast. So I'd win the sprints. Then it'd get to the stairs. And the stairs is all like, what did you say?
Endurance. Muscle endurance, right? It's a different aerobic capacity.
Yeah, it's completely different. And I would do that. And Chael would literally laugh at me as he's kept running up me, going, "Oh, you started yet, bro?" Like taking the piss at me. Yeah. And I'd be like, how is this? And then we sparred, and there was this one exercise Clayton used to make us do, which was punching the punch bag. Super basic, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, for 5 minutes, minute rest, repeat. And you would just punch straight punches as fast as you can for 30 seconds. Then you can't touch, you have to hold your hands up and do it again. Brutal. It's brutal. It's so easy, but it is brutal. Trust me, it's brutal.
Yeah, man, a combat sports training is the hardest shit you can ever do.
So I do this with Chael. So me and Chael, he'd be on one side of the bag, I'd be on the other side of the bag, and I'd be punching, and then my hands would be up. Then he'd be punching, and I'd be whatever. Again, it's muscle endurance in the shoulders. Yeah. Same thing. And he would laugh at me and make jokes. And I was naive, 24 years old, thinking this guy's fighting John Jones. He's an elite athlete. He's blah, 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 blah. Like 3 years later, it comes out that he was on every PED.
Him and John Jones.
Yeah, right? He was taking the, what was the one that helps your muscle endurance?
Oh, EPO.
EPO. So he was on, so I haven't never spoke to him about it, actually. I should bring, because I'm not being face-to-face with
get
him.
him on.
I'd be like, bro, you were insulting me. Literally making jokes about me as I was running upstairs, and you're on EPO running upstairs. Yeah, prick. But no, it was super, super inspiring. But it's just, again, when it came to the PEDs, I didn't know anything about it. Yeah. I just knew nothing. But then USADA come in, cleaned it up to an extent. But as you're making the money, you mentioned John Jones, it's like, if there's millions of dollars on the line, well, who's the famous cyclist that did it?
Oh, Lance Armstrong. That's the most famous case for that.
So Armstrong, whatever. If you've got the money to facilitate the doctors, the doctors know more about it than the USADA. Like they're always one step ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like their protocols are ahead of the testing protocols, and the testing protocols are trying to catch up on the doctors.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like crime and the police. They're trying to catch them. So I believe even now in the USADA day and age, there's definitely people doing it. I don't know who, but there definitely is people doing it.
Yeah, there was one fight, and Israel Adesanya turned up, and he had gyno.
Yeah.
Like he had fully developed gyno breast tissue, which is usually, from an imbalance of testosterone and estrogen. I don't know what happened there, but he full on just had gyno. And like he tried to say it was from like smoking weed or something. It was the most suspect thing that I've seen personally. But yeah, so 90%, and it's kind of the same in the fitness industry. When I was starting out, I was very naive as well. And I was like, oh, surely, these guys have just been training for long. And, when there's money involved, people will do whatever it takes.